I want to tell you something I noticed about myself a few years ago that I didn't fully understand until much later. I had made a real internal shift. Not I repeated affirmations for 30 days kind of shift. Something actual. Something that felt different in the body, quieter, more settled, like a decision that didn't need defending. And then about 4 days later, I checked my bank balance. And in that one moment, everything I had just built inside myself collapsed back into the old version. Not slowly, instantly. What I didn't understand then, and what I think most people never understand, is that what collapsed wasn't my belief. It was my brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. It looked at the available evidence, compared it to the internal shift I was trying to hold, found a mismatch, and quietly reinstated the old identity as the more reliable operating system. That's not a spiritual failure, that's a calibration loop. And it runs in almost everyone who has ever genuinely tried to change something deep about the way they see themselves. Jacobo Grinberg spent years researching what he called the neuronal field, the idea that the brain doesn't passively receive experience, it actively constructs it. Your nervous system is constantly building a model of what's real based on patterns it has already confirmed. And the key word there is already. This means that before you encounter a situation, your brain has already made a prediction about what it will mean. Before the opportunity arrives, before the conversation starts, before the outcome becomes clear, your internal model has already sorted it, already decided whether it belongs in your life or outside it. Most people think the problem is that they're not attracting the right things, but that's not usually the problem. The problem is that when something new does appear, when a door actually opens, the brain runs it through the old model and files it under, not for me, too risky, probably nothing. Interesting, but probably won't last. And then the person moves on. And 6 months later, they wonder why nothing ever changes. It's not bad luck. It's a filing system that hasn't been updated. Here's the version of this that most people actually live. You have a moment, maybe during a walk, maybe just before sleep, where something genuinely shifts. You stop feeling like someone waiting for permission, and you briefly feel like someone who already has it. And it's not dramatic. It doesn't come with music. It's just quiet and real. And you think, okay, something is different now. And then the next morning, someone says something dismissive, or a plan falls through, or nothing happens at all, which is almost worse, because at least a setback gives you something to react to. Silence just leaves you alone with the question, was that shift even real? And the moment you ask that question, you've already answered it. Because you've handed the authority back to your circumstances. You've made external evidence the judge of an internal state. That's the loop. That's what I'm calling the evidence addiction. Not because people are weak or undisciplined, but because the brain is doing something genuinely sophisticated. It's looking for coherence. It wants the outside to match the inside. And when it doesn't find that match fast enough, it defaults to the version of you that already has evidence. The old version, the familiar one. Let me be specific about where the trap actually is, because people usually misidentify it. The trap isn't negative thinking. You can think negatively and still hold a new identity if your body has genuinely settled into it. The trap isn't doubt either. Doubt is just a thought. It passes. The trap is the moment you decide to check. You know that moment. You've made an internal decision, you feel it sitting in you, and then something happens, a reminder of how things currently are. And instead of letting it pass, you pause and you check. You measure your new internal state against the visible evidence of your old life. And the old life, by definition, was built by the old you. So of course it doesn't confirm the new one yet. That checking is the addiction, not to negativity, to evidence, to needing the outside world to confirm what you just decided on the inside before you'll let yourself keep believing it. And here's what makes this particularly difficult. The checking feels responsible. It feels grounded. It feels like you're being realistic rather than delusional. Your brain actually rewards you for it. See, I was just being sensible. I was just making sure. But what it's actually doing is pulling the new identity up by its roots before it's had enough time to grow. Before I go further, if this kind of thinking interests you, the kind that sits underneath the usual manifestation advice, we go much deeper into the mechanisms at manifesttheinfinite.com. We publish long-form guides there that look at the inner architecture of change, identity, perception, the nervous system, all of it. No fluff, no quick fix frameworks, just the actual work. If you want to understand this at a level most content doesn't reach, that's where we do it. Links in the description. So what do you do with this? I want to be careful here because most answers to that question immediately become techniques. 5 steps to stop seeking evidence. A morning practice to rewire your brain. And I'm not dismissing tools. Some of them work. But if the answer to an identity problem is another technique to perform, you haven't solved the identity problem. You've just added a new behavior on top of an unchanged foundation. What actually shifts it, and I say this not as a prescription but as an observation, is when a person stops treating external confirmation as the honest measure of whether something internal is real. Think about what that actually requires. It requires you to hold a position about yourself, a specific one, not a vague positive feeling, without asking reality to vote on it immediately. Not forever, not blindly, just long enough for the position to become the new default, rather than the challenger. Because here's what's true about identity. It doesn't change in moments of peak emotion. It changes through repetition of a state that the nervous system gradually stops treating as unfamiliar. The shift you felt during that walk, before sleep, in the quiet that was real, the question was never whether it was real. The question was whether you were willing to hold it past the first moment the old evidence showed up. Most people aren't. Not because they lack commitment, because no one told them that the gap between the internal shift and the external response is normal, expected, and specifically the period where everything is either lost or kept. Jacobo Grinberg's work pointed towards something that I think gets closest to what I'm trying to say here. The neuronal field he described wasn't a mystical concept. It was a model for how consciousness and experience co-create each other, how the state of the observer shapes what the observer is able to register as possible. Not metaphorically, structurally, which means the person who walks into a room with a settled sense of who they are, not an arrogant one, not a performed one, just a settled one, genuinely perceives that room differently than someone walking in still running the old loop. Same room, same people, same moment, different data reaching the brain. That's what the lottery in the title is pointing at, not a ticket, not luck. The idea that the opportunities already present in your life, the conversations, the openings, the small pivots available to you right now, are being filtered through an internal model that is either allowing them in or quietly discarding them before you ever consciously register them. And the update isn't a technique. It isn't 7 days of journaling or 40 days of silence, though both of those things can help create the conditions. The update is a decision you make and then hold, specifically past the moment when your circumstances try to talk you out of it. The shift you've already made is not erased by the fact that nothing has changed yet. External reality is always a delayed report. It shows you who you were, not who you just decided to become. The only question that actually matters is whether you're willing to stop asking it to confirm something it hasn't caught up to yet.